Good afternoon, mech warriors, mech techs, and nobles in hiding. We are back on another beautiful day. Let's switch over to IntelliJ, because we've got some work to do. How is everybody? I hope you're all well. I see we've got a couple of people in chat already. Knight asking for me to do things for them, as always. Definitely pop in an RFE for your suggestion about a unit history report. I think it's a really good idea. I see Fox Darrow also super interested in Greg, the generic random event generator that we're working on today. See if there's anybody else I recognize in chat. Oh, I see Radar lurking in the distance, and also Think Again Lad, who I don't think I've seen before. So welcome to the stream. What are we here to do today? Well, Greg is mostly finished, architecturally speaking. Obviously, we don't have a massive event system, but that's intentional. But Greg itself, architecturally speaking, is mostly intact. Our goal today is going to be to break up this big, massive PR into smaller PRs so it's actually, well, reviewable. Now, I had some people asking in chat about Knight suggesting that Twitch suggestion channel point reward. Illiani types up your RFE. No. Youngster says that Greg has finished puberty. It's time for him to go to college. Quite right. But what is the goal with Greg? So Greg, as I say, stands for Generic Random Event Generator, and it is the successor to PEST, the Prisoner Event System, which itself was a successor to the Convoy roleplay events that you might have seen from time to time. Now, the goal of Greg is, as the name suggests, is to create a generic event system that we can then leverage whenever we want to have random events. So the initial goal was to get Greg set up and then have it completely replace PEST, which is the old prisoner event system, which has been successfully done. However, the next stage is then going to be to wholly replace the Convoy roleplay events. And then once that's done, we're then going to move on to introducing Star League Lost Tech caches via the event system. Because I really want Star League caches to return. Everybody wants to see Star League caches return. I've never been happy with the old ATB system where you have a bit of a fight and then maybe you get a decent mech out of it. I want to have Star League caches to feel like you are uncovering artifacts from a time long ago. Or perhaps not so long ago, depending on when you crack the cache. I mean, if you're in the first Succession War, Star League's, half your people probably still remember the Star League. If you're in the fourth Succession War, maybe that medium pulse laser is a bit more valuable. But we'll see. But as I say, before we can do any of that, we need to really nail down Greg and just go ahead and streamline it a little bit so that it's a bit more reviewable, so it's not just one big massive chunk. And we do this just by having a look at this is change list. This is everything that Greg's changing. But we're just going to go through these each and we see okay, what are we changing here? Can we break this out into its own PR? Now this we definitely can, because this is actually a mistake that I accidentally made previously. So this is mass status change dialogue fix. Whoopsie doodles. So let's go ahead and commit this. Make sure I'm on the right branch. Yes, I am. Commit to duty. The youngsters, I ironically think it'd be cool if the system was modular so it could reply to other caches too, like Republic caches in the Okan era or Can caches post-evasion. That could be interesting. That could be very interesting, actually. And that would be very doable. Knight says that we call the Star League caches Walmart in their time. So let's see here. We just need to go ahead and I forgot to include the dialogue text in. Here it is. And that is going to be a bug. It's going to be a medium. I kind of feel like most players will be able to work out what's actually happening. And it is, of course, text. Boop. That's that done. There we go. Next on the agenda, back to Greg we go. And how is everybody today? I hope you're all doing well. It's a very nice day today. It's got a nice breeze, the sun's shining. Oh, here we go. This can work nicely. So we're making some changes to skill that we can definitely break out. Trying to see what changes are we actually making here. Where are we making them? Because I don't think it actually should be in skill. It should probably be here. Yeah. So let's grab this and let's just double check that we actually got it in the right place. Go away, bot. So let's go ahead and jump into attributes. And have we got the attribute in the right place? That's always a good question. So what's the resource bundle? Okay, no, we are using the skill resource bundle here, so that's actually fine. Check that all our bugs are gone. There we go. Need to make sure attribute level text. Make sure that we're in the right working branch. We don't want to accidentally push to main. In theory, I now have a rule in place that will prevent me from pushing to main, but let's not test it. It's always a pain in the ass when you accidentally push to main and have to fix it. If you commit to main, it's not that bad. You can unfuck it, but if you push to main, it is just a pain in the ass. So a commit is a local thing. You're committing to your local version of the branch. A push is when you are actively pushing it to the your external repo. Repo standing, of course, for repository. Interesting. Oh, this is not what I'm looking for. I accidentally pushed the wrong thing. Whoopsie doodles. Let's fix that. There we go. This is to be closed. We accidentally pushed Greg. Oopsie doodles. Steak the Dog says, hello from work. I was expecting today to be busier since it's GTA 6 pre-order release day. Radar says that a lot of people are very salty about Rockstar's stuff regarding the pre-order of GTA 6. I'm curious, what is the drama there? I have not been paying attention. $80 for base, $100 for ultimate. Ugh. Young says the big two things are no discs, only a code for a demon in the box, and a ton of things were cut and put in for the pre-order DLC. Ooh. Always a bad. That's rough. But the thing is that they know people are going to pay for it. Steak the dog says $80 minimum product, 100 base. More like that is what's going to happen. Like that is going to be the standard from now. Now that people have shown that they're willing to pay $100 for a collector's edition, they are just going to make it to be the standard edition. But then they're going to make the basic edition just be like a bare bones watered down edition, so they can say, oh no, it's still $80. The $100 is only for the optional content, which of course we all know is bullshit. Okay, just seeing what else we need to do here. There is one thing I want to do, and that is I want to change this enum, because we have so many enums that are called none. I want to change this to attribute none. We keep the lookup the same, so we don't have to worry about doing compatibility handlers. Actually, let's go for one. Let's go for no attribute. There we go. There we go. And renamed attribute enum. Boop. Radar says they got their daily sum for their Gundam game. They can put their phone back on the charger. Oh, is there a good Gundam game out there, or is it just gacha? And there's no online on launch. Okay, so there not being any online on the launch of GTA 6, that at least makes sense, because they held back the online launch of Red Dead Redemption 2 on for the same reason, because it makes perfect sense from a development standpoint. One, it means you get a second push of popularity for the game. Two, it means that you can really focus on making the online experience good, rather than needing to split development of the online and the single player. So while I get why people are annoyed because they really want their GTA 6 online, that being held back, definitely as a developer, that makes sense to me. So I'm just saying, we have a lot of values called none in the code base, opted to rename this enum for improved clarity and code readability. There we go. And it is a refactor, so no functionality has changed. Refact. Pure rename, no functionality changed. There we go. Radar says, yeah, but Red Dead 2 was good at launch and the update was free. Knowing Rockstar's current operating standards, I doubt GTA Online 2 will be free and more like a separate game that requires GTA 6. Potentially. I couldn't say. Radar says it's the Gundam's a gacha game on mobile, but they enjoy it. The only gacha game I've enjoyed was the Pokemon card game Pocket, whatever it's called. I actually really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun. So now what we're seeing is how many of these are actual changes and how many are just renamed. So because we renamed this, we should rename this again. We'll do that later. Okay, I think what we need to do now is have a look at our random event system and see what we're changing here. So for one thing, random event system, we've got random event system. That should be random events multiple. Bollocks. So what we need to do is we need to rename this, and then what I'll do is I'll ask Hammer to drop in and hit the rename for me. Because we want, I mean, I suppose if we just rename it to random event system. No, random events is better. So let's go to Greg, and we're going to rename the random event system to random events system. And I'll save us some extra work. Now, Greg right now is completely broken, but that's to be expected. That's not a problem. Sometimes you leave stuff in a really broken state just because, yeah. So the problem is basically I did a switcheroo and I didn't realize the name had changed. So how do we want to resolve this? I think we resolve it via this. So we move all these into here. Overwrite for all. Then we remove random event system. For our next trick, we then need to go and find all of these bloody mistakes. And there's going to be quite a few. And this is going to unfuck Greg so that we can move forward. And it does be like this sometimes. Merging is incredibly reliable nowadays, but a simple thing of a package having the wrong name can completely change how it works. And that is just, it's just how it goes. There's no getting around it. Sometimes things just don't merge cleanly. So it says we don't have a random event data. I can see it's literally there. So that tells me we're probably defining this in class somewhere. Because I can see the random event data class, it be right there. It there. Look, I'm looking at it. Okay, random event system, random events goes into the random event system package. An event effect manager. Event effects manager. Okay, so that exists. So what we're going to do here, we're going to invalidate the cache and then come back into it, see if we can. Let's just push these changes for now. And then we're going to invalidate the cache and see if we can get it to recognize that these classes do in fact exist. Actually, we can go on better. So, effects event manager. Turns into random events effects manager. Random events effects manager. Random event effects manager. Random event effects manager. There we go. So if event effects manager goes away. Shoo shoo. Event results. Random event results. Event results effect. We've already got another duplicate of that. Prisoner event. Come back to you. Prisoner event data. Well, now we have event data, I believe. Yes, random event data. Data wrapper. Do we have a data wrapper? We do. So because of how I mucked up the merging, it's basically created duplicates. We have the old version of a class and then we have the new version of a class. Prisoner event. Response quality. We definitely have response quality. It's right here. Let's get rid of that. Random event type. Okay, let's compare these two. What's in this class and what's in this class? Oh! Interesting. These classes appear to be empty. That is not good. Why are these classes empty? Okie dokie. So the merge has just completely wiped a bunch of stuff, and unfortunately it's a big merge too. But there are ways we can resolve this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at these, and then we're going to go ahead and this should be let's go to minor language change, and we're going to go and compare it to local. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to grab all the stuff that we actually want. I mean, we're literally going to do this to everything. So get. Knight says classes are empty because school's out, duh. So this is going to place us in a world before we did our refactor by the looks of things. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay, I need to remember how to undo push to main. No, we didn't push to main. Undo git push. Control Z. Unfortunately, Control Z is not going to fix it here. Okay. Just reading over some solutions. Let's go over to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is the fountain of knowledge when it comes to code things. Git revert won't resolve what we're looking for. Okay, so what we now need to do is head over to terminal. And let me very quickly change the source here from Safari. Let's go to terminal. Boop. Okay, let's bigify this. And let me switch over Safari to the moment. Okay, now I need to remember the, so let's go. So what I'm doing is I'm navigating to where the code lives, and it should be so cd is just going to change directory, and ... just tells it to go back a directory. Oh, we need to go to volume. So cd volumes. Cd stop ejecting me. You can guess as to why. Okay, I'm being very dumb. Stop ejecting me. I think you can guess why it's called stop ejecting me. You can guess exactly what I kept doing. Oh, cd MegaMek, cd MekHQ, check out Gregification. Oh god, what's the I need to remember the command for checkout. Okay. I apologize, I'm not able to see chat right now, but I will catch up once I'm done. Okay, let's head ourselves back over to IntelliJ, and then we're going to need to reset. So let's go ahead and update. And let's go and we can check our random event system. Okay, so we need to go back one more step. So I'm heading back into so what the command you just saw me do again is basically what I'm going to be doing a couple of times until we get back to where we want it to be. Which it looks like okay, so we are now before the merge that broke everything. Hooray! Clap, 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 clap. So let us not make the same mistake as last time. Let's go to random events and add in that S. And what I did there is basically the same way that you would unbrick if you accidentally push to main. It's a very dangerous thing, and you should try to avoid it wherever possible, but sometimes dangerous is just what you got to do. So let's merge into main. While it's merging, I'm going to have some water because this is going to take a little bit, unfortunately. Oh, I need to cancel this. I forgot to push. So we're going to need to cancel this merge. Whoopsie doodles. We nearly did the exact same mistake we made earlier. I hope there's not too many of these. That would suck. But one of the good things with version control, if things go wrong, you can generally fix it. The question becomes not whether you can fix it, it's just how much effort it takes. And I'll walk you through this screen because we're going to be coming back here in a couple of minutes, and I'll be able to walk you through exactly what this all means. But this just goes to show it doesn't matter how much you know about the how GitHub and everything works, you just can't assume that you're going to get it right, because you're not gonna. But thanks to version control, we're no longer in a situation where we've pushed something and then we're just fucked. If you're not using version control, I've often described not using version control as not using, protection during sex. You might be completely fine. You could be completely fine every time, but it only takes once. So we see here it's created the two things again, so we're actually going to need to do the exact same thing over in terminal. But that's just a case of me pressing up a couple of times. There we go. Radar says, don't be silly, wrap your willy. Exactly, exactly. So it should be up to date and everything now, and we're going to try and not cock this up for the third time in a row. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? There we go. Okay, so now we should be able to merge in. Okay, so this is the merge conflicts resolution dialog. So let's do this to make it a little bit easier to read. So this is going to tell us all the files that are conflicting and that we need to then resolve. So in most cases, a lot of this is just going to be, so first of all, we start by clicking all. So any benign conflicts we can just resolve. And then we need to go down and resolve the non-benign, which really, in a lot of cases, is just going to be clicking one of these options. And this basically says, hey, there is a change on main, and there's a change local, and we don't know which is right. For these, it's the change on main is the one that should be correct. There we go. And then we just need to do that for every file. And it kind of sucks, but this is what you get. Okay, so this says I've deleted it, and this says I haven't. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the change that says we deleted it, and we're just going to manually delete if we need to. Actually, I can accept mine. Let's go and catch all the ones that are deleted. So we've deleted it, so let's try and accept mine, because we can always undo this. And here, they deleted it, but we modified it. So let's accept ours for now. So for these modified and delete ones, we're just going to accept ours and see if that gives us the result that we want. And then we just need to merge these other ones. Radar says that Rockstar's stock price is just tanked. Oh, that's amusing. It's always nice to see a corporate monstrosity get what they're coming for them. Because, like, look, Rockstar used to be cool. Rockstar has not been a cool company for a while. Red Dead Redemption 2 was a horrific failure of management. Horrific. The amount of crunch that went into Red Dead Redemption 2 was inexcusable. I don't care how good the game ended up and how well liked it is. The amount of crunch that the developers were forced to go through is just beyond the pale. It'll be a cold day in hell before I buy a Rockstar game again. Because like crunch should never be expected, but sometimes due to the nature of the business, it can happen, and sometimes you just have to stomach it and deal with it. But the level of crunch that Rockstar put their staff through, was just inexcusable. Epic has the same problem. A lot of their first party games end up having horrific crunch. Oh god, what's the name of the game, that cartoony art style, and it's like oh god, Borderlands 3 had a really bad crunch as well, if I remember correctly. Brenda says he did not like Borderlands 3. Yeah, I haven't enjoyed any of the Borderlands games, but my wife enjoyed Borderlands 3. I didn't, to be honest. Okay, let's hit the Java docs to see just how badly things are broken. And while that's running, we're just going to nip into the random event system and just make sure that our data exists. It does. Fan-fiddly-tastic. We are, however, getting a lot of errors. So let's try and unfuck this a bit further. Because this is not good. Not entirely sure what's happening here. Looks like it's smooshed two classes together. Oof. And I think IntelliJ might have just crashed trying to resolve this. That's not ideal. I would very much like not have to go through this merge conflict again, but IntelliJ has crashed. That is our first crash of today. Oh, IntelliJ's crashed hard. I actually need to go onto my second monitor to force close it. IntelliJ did not like that. Okay, it looks like we're still mid-merge, which is nice. I'm trying to figure out why this is in a particular package. That shouldn't be in a package. Why is this completely fucked? Let's just do it this way. Oh, we literally have it there. Okay, yeah, no idea what's going on there. Random event response query equality. Oh god, what am I doing? So this is the correct one. No, prisoner response entry. We had that already. Man, this merge has gone horribly. I have never seen a merge go this badly. This is incredible. Like, absolutely fascinating. There we go. Okay, so that should all be good once more. So let's go ahead and run javadoc to see if things... King Mile says, did I accidentally try to merge the Endless Sky codebase with MekHQ? Also, hello, King Mile, glad you could join us. So I just tried merging main into our Gregification branch, and it just went horribly wrong. Horribly wrong. It genuinely is the worst merge that I've ever seen. Sure, it's saying something. But this is just telling me that I need to get Gregification into main ASAP. But that's what we're going to try and do today. Okay, so we are now building successfully. So let's finish the manual merge. Okay, so that's that handled. Now we're going to run a quick test just to make sure everything is just going as it should. Because with how badly that merge went, I want to make sure that that the code base is good now. And then we're going to continue what we were doing previously. Waiting on tests. It's like waiting on staging data, but something's actually happening. Okay, here we go. This is what I was expecting. So we've got quality, check skill. So this should be null, and this should be null, I believe. No, this should be no attribute. This should be marked as nullable, I suspect. No, this should be not null. It should just be an empty string. Now let's see if we can run our tests. Radar says they had a ferret do moderate motive damage with a machine gun. Is it your ferret or theirs? Sadly, theirs and it's one of your manticores. Ooh, that is an expensive problem. At least it was only motive damage and it wasn't just straight up immobilized, so you can still participate for the more or less. Okay, it's just telling us we can't find the attribute. That's fine. We just need to... Oh, wait, I see. I see. We haven't actually changed. Because we had to roll back. Right. That reminds me. Skill attribute. None. It's attribute none, which we then changed to no attribute, I think. The analyzing of the code is really causing my computer to chug. Just waiting for this down here to finish. We're just stopping for a moment while we wait to see exactly what's happening. Because right now it's just struggling to build the cache. There we go. It got there in the end. Okay, what's the other errors we're looking at here? So response neutral, empty, and then no attribute. We have one more error, that's gone. How are we looking over here? So I've got an error, let's go fix that. Just need to merge in. Okay, in theory, we should now be able to test, and then we can finish the goddamn merge process. That's literally all we're doing here. We're just merging and fixing problems with the merge. It's very exciting. In fact, this is going to take a couple of moments, so I'm going to go and refill my water while we wait. I won't be more than a couple minutes. And I'm back. Knight says one of their favorite tactics is flinging a volley of LBX 5 or 2 cluster shots at heavies like manticores and demolishers, and then going back to finish their crippled carcasses later. Yeah, especially if you can get a nice juicy side hit. If you can get a side motive, you've got a decent chance of just immobilizing them straight up. And if it's an LBX2, you've got the AC2 range. Very nice, very nice. Okay, looks like we have a whole bunch of failures. That's fine. The tests are running, so that's the main thing. That's all I'm really caring about right this second. So let's go ahead and finish up the merge. There we go. Okay, so now that we've finished the merge, we can go back to the project that we were doing previously. Let's push these changes so I don't have to deal with that later. And like I said, our thing we're doing right now is just breaking up Greg into a bunch of different components so that when we finally can push Greg, it is in the smallest manner possible. Let me also check, have we got any approvals? That's all fine. Okay, so let's head ourselves over to main. Also, if I know this is a bit of a personal thing. Smart checkout, whatever. But like, you may have noticed that I was a little bit grumpier than I normally am recently. So if anybody's new to joining us and isn't aware, I am trans femme. I'm very, very early on in my transgender journey, which is like, well, I still sound pretty masculine. But with the whole moving house thing, my supply of estrogen got interrupted, and so I was off my estrogen for a little bit, and it's the first time I've ever been off my estrogen, and I gotta say, I did not expect just how grumpy it would make me. It wasn't until yesterday when I realized I was getting annoyed at things that really shouldn't have annoyed me that I realized, oh no. But I am glad to say that my estrogen supply has resumed, so I should be back to my normal jovial self. Let's go back to show difference. So where were we? Oh, that's right. We were crying because everything was broken. So this is the next thing we need to do. Because we need to grab this. So what's actually happened here? So that's just been moved. We don't care about that moving. What is happening here? It's just year changes. Nothing really has happened here. Okay, we have made some changes to prisoner event manager. We'll come back to that later. Okay, this lot has definitely changed. Let's grab this. And let's come in and see what changes we've actually made and see if everything can be worked with. Okay, so this is just renaming stuff. Yeah, we can't do what I've just done because this is going to create a lot of rollout changes. So what we need to do, and this is going to be a bit tedious, but we need to do this switch manually. Let's just collapse that. Oh, we can just press this. There we go. Nicely collapsed. Let's go dum. I said dum, damn it. Where's campaign? Random events. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so we're just going to basically need to do this one by one. So we're going to do this by splitting right. We're going to change to unified. And then we need to go to the corresponding thing. So this was prisoner event data. Actually, let's go for unified view, not unified. There we go. So prisoner event data is now called random event data. Random event data Reno. Okay, so that's the first one done. Are we changing any of these parameters? Prisoner event becomes random event. random event type. So the reason why we have to do this here is, and we can't just rely on the existing stuff, just copy it across, is because this name change could have cascading effects. I copied across the wrong one. There we go. So that's the first one done. And as you can see, it's already had cascading effects across several different classes. Okay, so prisoner event data is getting changed. Where is it? Prisoner event is going to get rechanged to random event data wrapper. Okay, next we're on the random event affected personnel. Now that should just be a new thing, isn't it? Yeah, it thinks it should be a rename of prisoner event, but this is actually a new class. There we go. So random event effects manager. Event effects manager, there we go. So this class has a lot of changes, but the one I'm really only concerned about is the rename. The rest I should be able to copy across. Because we want the rename because we want it to cascade across the code base. Okay, in this, we're just going to attempt to copy it across. This might not work, but if it does work, it's going to save us a lot of hassle. Now, we're not too worried about all these errors. These errors are actually fine, because we can come back in and fix those later. And chances are, as we move down the chain, we're actually going to fix as we go. Okay, so that's fine. We've already got that. Okay, so response quality is becoming random event response quality. And this class got a lot of changes, so we should just be able to copy across. Random event result. Nice, easy, just largely just a rename. Then we get random event result effect. Interesting. Can I get contents from this revision? Curiouser and curiouser. Event result effect is what we've renamed it from. Ah, there we go. Now will it tell us what the changes were? What are we looking for? Oh, that's what we're looking for. Random event result. Oh, it's because it's been renamed. Random event result effect. Rename you to random. No, what? I think we just fucked it up. God damn it. Let's roll you back. I see. This is the problem. We've got two here. I don't think this is correct. So let's get rid of our changes here because I want to expand this and just double check that we got the, because it might be that we got the wrong class. Okay, prisoner response entry. Renamed random event data from prisoner event data. That makes sense. Prisoner event data wrapper. Yep. Event effects manager. Effects event effects manager test. Yeah. Response quality. Yep. Event result effect. Yep. There we go. That's the problem. This should be result. So random event, okay, bugger off. These two we need to roll back. Radar says their boyfriend got home from going to the store and bought Mike's hard lemonade. Well, when life gives you hard lemons. Random event result. And then random event type. The young says, hey, Illiani, how easy is it to add ultimatums to the faction standing? I've been reading up all the all BattleTech fiction and finding it to Civil War. I feel like some I've split from the Capellans could be a good ultimatum. I think that could be a great one, yeah. How hard is it? You don't need any code knowledge. I don't have a written guide, but if you're interested and you are interested in writing it, okay, because there is no code knowledge required here. It's just you would have to write this stuff. But if you're interested in writing it, head over to Discord. If you scroll down to somewhere, there'll be a writers club, and just make a note there of what you'd like to do, and give me an example of your writing. PS359 says, Mike's Hard Lemonade, also known as American Foreplay. Woof. Okay, that looks good. Let's run JavaDocs, see if we get... So JavaDocs is going to be our first test. Is it going to just completely break? And if it hasn't completely broken, we then need to get the tests working again. So we can't find random event result because we haven't renamed it. There we go, that's easy fixed. Okay, we still got prisoner response entry. That probably should be random event response. Random event response entry. There we go. There we go. So let's go and just verify that we are in fact doing good. So let's show the difference and see what still needs to be done. Okay, we need to bring over a legal statement. That's good. So this is what we want. We want that to just the only thing that we need to change is a legal statement. If we need to change more stuff, we need to investigate. This is mostly correct. However, there's a couple that we need to change. Because we don't have skill check skills anymore. Well, we do, but not yet. I actually think we might add the skill types to this. Did we accidentally delete loyalty 1? That seems ill-advised. No, it just moved. Okay, cool. Young says, "Oh, maybe Clan Wolf, but Clan Wolf in Exile." Yeah, no, these are all great choices. It's just that basically I set up the system and I just need people to basically expand it. But I can walk you through exactly what needs to be done. Just be aware, it is a good chunk of writing, and I do expect good writing. So you may get asked to make some edits. You know what? Rules to this. How are the tests working? Okay, we want the event data. What changes do we make here? Oh, okay, that's fine. Do I want to do this? No, let us reset this. I decided I don't want to bring over the code for for skill checks just yet. That can be a follow-up. Ah, fuck it, I've done it now. It'd be more effort to undo it, so fuck it, let's just go. We ballin'. Okay. Where are my tests? Seeing if there's any other tests here that we need to bring over. I don't believe so. So let's run some tests and see what's broken. So there are some changes that we can't do yet. Trying to see what we want to do here. Random events effects manager. This is the challenge of trying to break up a large PR. Fuck it. Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it. I think at this point we've broken up as much as we can. Let's get the tests working, and then we'll just say fuck it, we bore. So we're going to run these tests, we're going to fix any that are broken, and then I think at this point we're just going to push Greg. Looks like there's also been some feedback on some of the PRs. So we're going to check, once we've done these tests and got it working, we're going to check the Copilot stuff, and then we'll ask Hammer to merge it. And then we can get Greg done. Because as things stand, we can't just have this in... As illustrated by just how bad the merge conflicts were, we can't break this apart any further. Because we have been at this for over an hour, and we've barely done... We were still trying to resolve the merge problem, basically. Okay, let's see what our failing tests are. Okay, random event effects manager test. Oh god, there is a lot of failures in here. Let's scootle over and see what we can fix. So we're going to run this so we can see exactly what's failed. So what do I wait for that to run? And you get to see me, very excitingly, fix basically bugged tests. Okay. So this is just a mess. Look at all these failed tests. Woof. So we're going to start off by, because tests are something that AI is incredibly good at. So we're going to start off by asking the AI, hey, can you investigate these tests and what's these failing tests? Especially as I'm not convinced that these failing tests are actual failing tests. I think they are just that the test needs to be updated. So we'll have that. See what it comes up with. It's stuff like this is specifically why I wasn't convinced that me doing dev streams would be entertaining, because a lot of development is literally just waiting for something else to finish. So yeah, my dogs are on the bed behind me, just honk shooing away. To live the life of a dog. Diddly dum. What are the rest of you up to right now? I know Radar is fighting the good fight in MekHQ, and I see that Knight is about to be bankrupted by the Steam summer sale. Raider says they picked up the Pharaoh City Builder remake. That's interesting. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that game. Steak the Dog is stuck at work still. Ah, I see. I see where these mistakes are coming from. Okay. Whoopsie doodles. That's actually was a genuine mistake. Okay, so let's run these tests one more time and see what happens. We really need to turn off auto mod. I kind of trust you guys not to be assholes. And if we do get an asshole, it's easy enough to ban them. The youngster says they're pretending to not have to go to work in 15 minutes. Ugh. But Radar says they just had a turret blown off by one of their manticores by a heavy hopper APC. Turns out tanks can fly, at least part of them anyway. Steak the Dog is staring at the seam stomach cell and thinking CMFI? What's CMFI? Cool, and our tests are now passing. Didn't even have an ammo detonation. Stupid critical hit table. Stupid sexy Flanders. Okay, so we're going to head over to Safari now. Now we've got everything fixed, we aren't going to push just yet. We're going to hold off pushing because we are going to go to Safari, Shazam. And this is me just being told, look, well, behold all of my errors. Gross errors. Oh, no, I'm not, because I'm still showing the wrong thing. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Let me just take you away from terminal. There we go. Actually, let's see, what was the other tests that we failed? Let's go back one. So we also failed a couple of tests here as well. So we should probably run this and double check this is running good as well. King Miles says they're having flashbacks to that singular SRM exploding that otherwise untouched Poe. It's usually machine guns. Like, it's usually golden machine guns. Oh! State Log says Combat Mission Fortress Italy. Italian suffering speaks to them. I used to play on the family computer. We had some American Civil War turn-based video games. It was like Battle of Bull Run and a couple others. They were very, very good. And it's that I think that's the style of game. It's one of the reasons why I fell in love with MekHQ so much and the MegaMek experience, because it's a very similar experience. My dad was very into the American Civil War, which is interesting for an Englishman. And unfortunately, he was a fan of the Confederate side for reasons we shan't go into on stream. He wasn't too happy when I was drawn more to the Union lads. So we're over I didn't said we're over in Italy. We're over in IntelliJ, just waiting for tests to run so we can see if they're working still. Okay, so we've got at least one failing test. Pink Bully says Combat Mission is a game they like but don't think they could ever recommend. I definitely played games like that. Yeah, no, I have definitely played games where I'm like, I had fun, but I will never play this again. I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, and I'm failing. I'm failing to think of a good example of a game that I'm like, oh no, I enjoyed that, but I will never play it again. Actually, I can tell you, Undertale. Undertale is a game I enjoyed, but I will never, ever be able to play again. Undertale, the first playthrough of Undertale, like I played through the True Pacifist run on Undertale, and I had a really, really good time with Undertale, but something about Undertale just broke me. I was blubbering like a newborn by the end. I tried the genocide run and I just couldn't do it. I killed one of the first characters you meet, and then felt so heartbroken I just could not continue the genocide run. RimWorld I enjoyed, and I definitely see why people have been saying that MekHQ is getting RimWorld vibes. But I'm not sure RimWorld is really the game for me. Safe Dog says the Ironclad series is mine, though. They're very niche Slavic jank games, built for a very specific kind of person, and even then it's just, they're bad. I can think of the Pathologic games. I don't know if the newest one's any good. I haven't played the newest one, but I would say the Pathologic games are just not that good. Like, from a purely game design, they are definitely, they want you to play a very specific way, and they have some interesting games design choices. That would definitely be one I would say. It's not a good game, but it is enjoyable to play if you're that kind of person. Okay, so heading over to Safari, Shazam. And we're going to go ahead and have a look at some of the code reviews that we've got on this sort of existing stuff and see if there's anything we need to change. Okay, nothing there. Good, good. It's basically suggesting we add some null protection. We can do that. Oh, that's a fair point. We need to have some. We need to add some handling for edge. That's something we will need to do. This is just a hallucination. It's saying that we don't have all the values. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's correct. And then anything that's not 0 to 10, yeah, that can be ignored. That's irrelevant. This, however, isn't. So let's jump in and see what we can do to fix this up a little bit. Okay, so let's see. How do we want to do this? So it's easy enough. If we return if person equals null, can person equal null? And person could equal null, yeah. Person equals null. Do we have a logger here? We have. And return, we'll just return actual score equals 0. So we're not going to early return here, but we will bypass this. So I don't think we're going to ever have a null person passed in here, but if we do, this will fix it. And we can do this. If attribute equals edge, then resource key, we're going to add edge. Otherwise, we're just going to say normal. So it does, however, mean that we now need to resource key. What are you doing there, TeleJ? There we go. It neatens things up a little bit. However, we need to go and update these. So let's see if we can find our resource. There we go. That was easy. So I'm just going to add normal to these. No, we're not. How do we want to handle this? Knight says MekHQ punishes you if you ignore the devs. So I was like, I don't need some minor data changes. Skip milestone. Then I tried to load a game and got a null error because the planet I was on was missing socioeconomic data, and I spent 30 minutes trying to figure out where and how to add that in. Yeah, no, the data changes in the milestone are not minor. There is a lot of really important fixes in there. No, we're going to stick with my original plan. these need to be capitalized though. Actually, now I look at it. This should be... Actually, I'm realizing something. So this is going to work fine. We do want to still add some null handling, but I don't think we need to update these. The reason why is because if we ever move to ATB, not ATB, but come on, if we ever move to ATO ratings, this will be correct. There we go. And that just gives a warning to anybody who comes later. Radar says they thought they weren't going to update to the milestone version, but then was like, yeah, I should in case I run across data errors. Yeah, no, the data errors are not small. The release of 51.0, the original release was basically unusable for anybody who was playing a clan campaign. Let's get this updated, because once I've got this updated, I am going to ask Hammer to merge this stuff, because these are all super tiny changes, but that will allow us to push Greg with confidence, basically. Because I would like if we can do one thing today, and that is to get the Greg pull request out, that will make me really happy. I have no idea what it's talking about there. That is hallucination. Okay, so that should allow us for... So I just asked Hammer if he can approve the MekHQ queue so that I can get the PRs that we did earlier today, these ones here, get them merged in so that we can then push Greg and not have to worry about conflicts or anything else like that. While we're waiting for Hammer, let's go and do something fun. I want to add a campaign option, I think. So one thing I've noticed is when you're doing the auto awards, it does very much become a bit of a ticking exercise. Like, I don't know about you guys, I personally never bother to check what award I'm getting. I just click give more awards. So how about we just skip the award ceremony as a campaign option? So let's see, how badly did I write this back in 2024? Is this going to allow us to do what we want? This filters out their awards, and then this presents the award data. So this is where we're adding the awards. So let's break this out. No, this isn't going to work. Because we're directly accessing the row index to get the reward in person. Okay, so this is short of completely rewriting the order awards dialog, we're not going to be able to do what I want to do. What else do we want to do? Because I am like very done today. Oh, we can do a review. Let's have a look. Let's go into Safari and do a couple of reviews. So what we're doing here is we're just validating that we are going to make skill checks in the event that the unit does not have a skill. Yeah, that's all good to me. Let's get that merged. So this is an update to the education system. I'm just verifying exactly what we're doing here. Okay, get tuition adjusted. What are we looking for? So Hawk, who's done this, is saying that there was an error in how we were evaluating tuition. So I'm just trying to see where where the tuition change is. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, that's fine. Let's get that merged as well. And if I can hear my phone going off, so that tells me that Hammer is doing Hammer things. We can head back to the pull request queue and see what the update is there. Radar confirms that Hammer is indeed doing Hammer things. Okay, looks like all... Hey Hammer, glad you could join us. Two merged, the last one has conflicts. That does not surprise me. Let's investigate that and get those resolved. It seems like dealing with conflicts is the theme of today. Going back to Order Awards though, like one of the things I would really like to do, Order Awards and education are the two things that I've always wanted to have the opportunity to redo. And we're putting in the groundwork now to see what we can do to facilitate a education rewrite. The goal really is going to be just completely reboot education from the ground up, reusing the data and the research we did from the original education, but really taking advantage of the tools and the skills and just the systems that we now have in place that we didn't when education was made. Because you have to remember, education came at a and Order Awards too, came at a very, very different time in MekHQ's life. Like the real role, I can hear my mic, I do apologize. The real roleplay potential of MekHQ wasn't really being realized. And as a result, should be that. As a result, the things that I could do with education were incredibly limited. Keep in mind, attribute scores and all the roleplay skills, even the utility skills, none of those existed, with the exception of the leadership skills, tactics, strategy, and the other one, whatever the other one is. Those didn't exist, and it meant that I couldn't do things like have scouting skills in education. I couldn't do things like have a course that gave you even the training. The training skill didn't exist. So none of the teaching curriculums included training. They just included random crap. And so education really needs to be updated for modern MekHQ. And what I'd like to do is I would like to, so here's the chicken and egg situation. I really need a education rewrite, but I'm not in a position to do so just yet, because ideally we would have the ACB, the Advanced Character Builder, in place so that we can, rather than having education courses give you random shit, we could have the education course give you a life path. And it means we can then work within the parameters of Time of War's character creation system and utilize the life paths that we've already got from the ACB, rather than completely reinventing the wheel. And so what that would mean is curriculums would be flattened. So you're not going to get a vastly different curriculum from Academy A to Academy B, Academy C. But what you would see is the prestigious academies would instead give you higher quality education. So if, using a pure example here, if the curriculum gave you 100 XP in the small arms skill, as an example, then a prestigious academy might give you an extra 20%. So 100 XP would become 120 XP. And that just means that we're not sitting in a situation where the player is needing to filter through, okay, well, which of these 5 different academies do I want to go to? Which is going to give me the exact details I want? Oh, this academy has tracking, but this academy has sensor operations. Instead, the player can go, okay, well, I want this life path, and this life path. I'll queue them up. I'll say, okay, I want you, little Timmy, to train towards this life path, this life path, and this life path. And maybe we can implement a system where the character can decide. So you can say, okay, well, I want you to go to school, decide what you want, pick what you want. And then the character will semi-randomize what life paths they work towards. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, because education really does need to be remade. I'm really not happy with how it's grown, and I don't feel it is... I don't think it is... I don't think it has the capacity to meet the demands of modern MekHQ. Hammer, thank you so much for the subscription, Hammer. I really do appreciate it. And anybody else who has subscribed over the past month, I really, really appreciate every one of you. And because I want to make sure that you guys know where the money is going. The money is going directly to paying for me to get a new computer so that I can do more programming stuff and a little faster. Hammer says they upped it so they can get to my computer faster. Thank you so much. Fox Darrow says the channel you set up on Discord. By the way, there is a education channel now in the Discord. You can see in the announcements a link to that. This is the MegaMek official Discord. Speaking of Discords, if you're not already, check out the links area on Twitch or on YouTube, and you'll find a link to our personal Discord where you can hang out with us after stream. King Marl, thank you so much for the Prime subscription. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Darrow says the channel I set up in the Discord has gotten quite a lot of traffic, which I think shows that people are very, very much interested in a better education system. I think that many of our player base live in North America and are very interested in a better education system. It's a little US of A joke there for you all. I'm very funny. But no, I do think that people really enjoy... Oh, I just realized we have a hype train. I still don't know what a hype train is. Let's find out together. Because I've been doing this for over a month now. I should know what a hype train is. Twitch, what is a hype train? Thank you so much for the 100 bits, Knight. A hype train is a game if I can remember. Hype train guide. Let's go to him instead of looking at AI. Oh, bugger off. I'm not logging in. We'll stick with the AI. Go, 5-minute countdown, progress bar. Community, spend bits or build bits. Okay, cool. So apparently if you guys subscribe, don't feel like you have to. Like, it's appreciated, but don't feel like you have to. But if you subscribe, you will get a unique emote, apparently. What will that emote be? We don't know. Will the emote be good? We don't know. Will the emote be useful? Probably not, but you will get it. Oh, wow. Okay, chat is exploding. Give me a second. So, Forksdarrow, thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you for the 5 bits, Pathstrider, and thank you for the community sub, Knight. I really appreciate you all. Thank you. It looks like people are showing off some of the emotes they've been getting. That's good. My artist is promising me that they will have the emotes so that we can have like emotes for subscribers and stuff like that. I promise I will fix that up for you guys. Unfortunately, my artist has terrible ADHD and keeps forgetting the request exists. Thank you for the 200 bits, Foxdarrow. And that Foxdarrow says it may be that some of us already have all the available emotes at this level. Yeah, is entirely possible, yes. I barely know how Twitch works. I used to occasionally jump into Joker's streams, so it's called Keep Tabs. And but that is my only experience with Twitch. So I don't know how any of this works, but I really, really appreciate all of you. Like, genuinely, I really, really do. I thank you so much for all the support and the encouragement and just the generally good vibes that you guys have been giving us. Hammer says the website stats show 70% US or Canadian, 25% European, mostly German. Yeah, no, the mostly German part tracks. Like, BattleTech is incredibly popular in Germany, and the remaining is around the rest of the world. The good old catch-all rest of the world. So has this finished yet? But yeah, no, jumping back to education, I really feel like we're at a stage now where we not only have the code skill for me, because you have to remember, education was literally I just often describe it as my difficult second album. So Auto Awards was my first major programming project, and I have said this so many times, but it is genuinely correct. I have no idea how Auto Awards actually worked. By all rights, with it literally being my first major programming project, Auto Awards should have been an absolute it should have been an absolute clusterfuck, if you excuse my language. Like, Auto Awards has no right to work at all, let alone as well as it does. But it does work, and I have no idea how. It just clearly the coding gods blessed me, I guess. But then came education, because I had done Auto Awards and I wanted to do something big, and I wanted to follow it up. So Auto Awards had been done. Turnover had replaced the old terrible retirement system that nobody liked. And now I wanted to do education. And me and Hammer sat down and did so much research. But education was a real challenge to me as a programmer. Not just because it needed me to do extra stuff that I hadn't done before, but because really... one of my dogs have just farted. Thank you, guys. Dogs are terrible. Why do we like dogs? Smelly buggers. So dog farts aside. Dog farts aside. I need to turn my fan off. I just realized my fan's just wafting the dog stink right into my face. Radar says we don't deserve dogs. I don't deserve what my dogs are doing to me right now. Are you guys okay? They haven't even woken up. They haven't even bothered to wake up as they're gas chambering me. Anyway, I'm just going to ignore that noxious stink. What was I even talking about? Yeah, so Education was very much the difficult second album. We just did not have the tools to do what I wanted to do. Radar says they're farting in their sleep. They haven't even had the common courtesy to wake up when I'm telling them off. Open a window? Yeah, I can't open a window. This is what we deal with. But yeah, so like, it's with Mercius, fantastic. So we just did not have the we just didn't have... Oh, hype chest. Let's open our hype chest. Good luck, everybody. May you get something that's not shit. I got the good one emote. Wee choo choo, I guess. I am far too old for this shit. So yeah, we just did not have the code tools in place or the systems in place to allow us to really do what I wanted to do with education. So having the opportunity to go back and really just get to the heart of what I want education to be. Oh, I like King Miles. I like King Miles emote. I would use that emote a lot, King Mile, if I had that. But yeah, just trying to get to the heart of what education is meant to be and what I want it to be and how it fits in the training ecosystem. Because education, you also have to remember, training formations worked completely differently back then as well. So everything has really changed in MekHQ. Like the 2026 MekHQ, like even if you only go back to 2024, but if you go back to 2025, 2020, what the hell am I talking about? 2020, you'll see that MekHQ is just a completely different game. It's a completely different experience. And I'm just really excited for what I can do with an Education 2C. And 2020, exactly, 2020. But what I'm trying to decide is, like, do I wait to revitalize education until after the ACB, the Advanced Character Builder, is out? And I'm increasingly inclined to say yes, because people clearly want stuff. How is voting yes? Yeah, it's because what people are asking for is stuff that will be made incredibly easy with the ACB. And I mentioned this earlier, but I really want you guys to imagine a UI, and that UI is like, hey, what life paths are you looking for? And you type in, or pick rather, you want, okay, I want the high school education life path. And then the UI spits out, hey, here's the people you've selected. Here's all the high school education institutions they can go to get the life path that you want. You're like, okay, I want that. Now you click Q. Okay, and you've queued that, and then you're like, okay, after they finish their high school education, I want these people to go to a MekTech training course. And you go, okay, well, here's all the training courses they could go to next. We'll pick that one, hit Q. And you're like, okay, well, then once they've done that course, I want them to retake it to get their master's degree. So you pick that out, you click it. And this would allow you to just queue any number of training education options, and then the character will just go through it. And as I say, the end goal I want is for it to all just be using the life path system. And again, I've mentioned before, but in my mind, you would have the life path, which is your basic setup of skills and options that you'd get from taking this course. But then the quality of the education institution dictates how much XP you would get from that. So 100 XP might be the base, but if you have a really trash tier education, you might only get 80 XP out of that. So 80 XP for small arms, for example. Where if you manage to get a really good education from a really high quality academy, you could get like 120 XP. And we're going to an XP system rather than a I'm just trying to see what the hell is the difference here? New attribute versus no attribute. Corporate wants us to tell the difference between these two code changes. I think they're the same. Hammer says the reason why I say yes, in NATO you have education as an option for development. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm thinking. And I definitely, I'm really like the fact of how much people have responded like they want X, Y, and Z from education really is telling me that education is something important enough that when we do the rework, we should do it properly. Now, you might say, oh, Illiani, you should always do everything properly. Quite right. But the popularity of something dictates how much development time you can reasonably devote to it. Because if the only person who cares about education is me, and I know that's not true, but if that were the case, then I can't really justify devoting a month's worth of dev time to a thing that only I'm going to care about. Radar says, I know the enemy controlled the field, but I RP'd it as my crew hooking up the knocked out manticore or to two other manticores and dragging it off the field with its crew. Yeah, exactly. That go for it. Like, that sounds like a really cool narrative. Fox Darrow says, I do think education should be more powerful for technical skills like doctors or engineers with postgraduate work getting up to veteran level, while combat training is limited to best. Here's the thing. You can take a tech and you can train them all the way up to doctorate and they will be veteran. That is already built in. Just nobody knows it works that way. And all you need to do is just retake the course a couple of times, and each time you take the course, it levels up. But again, nobody knows that's how it works. But yeah, no, that system is actually already implemented. It just isn't communicated to the player at all. And you might say, but why isn't it communicated to the player at all? And this is something that actually came up in the education feedback channel. So in my mind, there are 3 eras in how we communicate systems to the player. Three distinct eras. There is the Dark Ages, which is prior to 2024. So I call that the Dark Ages because in the Dark Ages of mechanical communication, player education, call it player education, but in the Dark Ages of player education, every system was written with the assumption that you already knew how it worked. There was no effort made whatsoever to communicating these systems to the player. There might, maybe, if you're lucky, be a text doc hidden somewhere in the bowels of the install directory. If you were lucky, that text doc would not be kept up to date, and in many cases I found those documents weren't even accurate when they were saved. Like when they were first saved, they were still not accurate. So that's why I refer to as the Dark Ages. In the Dark Ages, nothing was communicated. The only way to know how MekHQ worked was to already know how MekHQ worked. Then in 2024, we pushed what I refer to as the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages of player education is when we really made a massive, very difficult push to document as many of the new systems as possible. So any major new system had to come with a doc explaining it, and that doc had to stay up to date. The problem we found in the Middle Ages was that basically the players just didn't read the documentation. Like they just straight up did not read it. Like hours, sometimes even a couple of dev days was put into the effort of writing these documents, and players just didn't read them. And that's fine. Like, when I say that players didn't read them, I don't sit here and go, oh, fucking players, they didn't even read the shit I wrote. Like, it is... Oh, just... That wasn't my butt, by the way, if you heard that on the microphone. That was my hands. I'm not just tromping away like my dogs. But here's the thing. I do not blame our player base for not reading the documentation, because reading is hard. And the documentation is really dry, it's really boring, it's not digestible. Nobody wants to have to sit and read multiple rulebooks worth of crap just to know how turnover works. King Mouse says my hands farted. They did indeed. I'm terrible for playing with my hands while I'm talking. It's why I have a desk dinosaur. I have my Diplodocus that I play with. And I have to be playing with Sonic. It's why I'm always punching my mic. But Radar says I honestly thought that was my dogs when I heard my hands. Yeah. They're still asleep, by the way. Knight says they always read the docs after old Illiani complained to Discord about not reading docs. Yeah, I complained a lot. But looking back, we have to be realistic in what we can expect the player to do. And asking them to sit down and read multiple rulebooks worth of fan-made content just to know how turnover or awards work is unreasonable. It is unreasonable. We get away with that with the official rulebooks because we can't print the contents of the official rulebooks in MekHQ. So you kind of have to. Take the Dog says the documentation is also spread across dozens of documents, or at least was, which made it hard to figure out what was important. Exactly. These are all issues. And so recognizing that we cannot expect the player to read this stuff, we come into what I refer to, and this is the current era in player education, the Age of Enlightenment. And the Age of Enlightenment is characterized by taking explanations out of documentation and putting them in front of the user. So you'll notice when you launch salvage operations in MekHQ, everything, we're gonna go ahead and run this test first. Everything is explained to you. The only thing we don't explain is the official rules stuff. But the entire UI tells you each step of the way, hey, here's the UI, this is what it does. So there's no need for a doc on salvage because it's all in the game. You'll notice the advent of the glossary, the in-game glossary. That is an aspect of the Age of Enlightenment, where we are specifically trying to make everything as small and digestible as possible. If you want to know how a certain system works, you check the glossary. The glossary tells you how. This is how this specific system works. Here's some hyperlinks if you want to read more about other things. And some systems, like the faction standing system, do still get a doc. They do still get a doc, but that's because it's an incredibly complicated system and we don't really have a way to communicate that in game other than to say, hey, just fire and forget it. The reason why I decided to use a doc for the faction standing is because generally speaking, you don't need to know how faction standing works to use faction standing. If you really, really care about the nitty gritty, there's the doc. But we're not expecting players to read the doc to understand the system. And that's the key part of the quote unquote Age of Enlightenment of player education. We're no longer expecting the player to read the doc. We're just expecting the player to engage with the systems like the glossary to find out, okay, how does this specific system work? And so education really, really suffered from being produced during the quote unquote Middle Ages of player education. Everything is written down in the doc, but the doc is not well written. The doc might as well not exist unless you know it's already there. And so when we redo the education system, it's going to be really, really good to be able to produce it in the Age of Enlightenment, where I can just say, hey, here is how this system works in game. Hey, if you want to get a doctorate, here's how you get a doctorate. Rather than the current system where the only way you know how to get a doctorate is if you read the docs or someone explained it to you, which is a really, really bad system. And also, we can tell the Age of Enlightenment works compared to the Middle Ages and compared to the Dark Ages. Well, the Dark Ages just didn't work. We know that for a fact. But you can tell that the Age of Enlightenment's approach to player education works so much better than the Middle Ages approach, specifically by looking at the volume of the same question being asked again and again and again. Because a question that's only asked a handful of times, or can be easily be answered with look at the glossary, that immediately solves the problem. And the way the glossary works, and this is really, really, I don't want to say clever as if I was the person who invented glossaries, but this is a really cool way for how the glossary works on a psychological level. And you're going to have to listen to me blabber on about this because we're waiting for tests to run. I might as well entertain you guys some way. But with the glossary, the way the glossary works, and it's so much better than documentation, is player comes to us and says, hey, how do training formations work? We say, oh, it's in the glossary under training formations. And the player goes, okay, thank you. I'll go read the glossary. And they go off and read the glossary. And by the pure merit of them going to the glossary and looking for training formations and reading training formations, they are now aware of a couple of things. One, they are aware the glossary exists. Two, they are aware that the glossary has useful information. 3, they now know how to use the glossary and where to find it. So by answering their one question via directing them to the glossary, we have now equipped that player with the knowledge and the tools to answer any question that exists in the glossary. That player is now trained, quote unquote, to always go to the glossary if they have a question first, and then come to us if they actually still have a question that isn't answered in the glossary, or if they think the glossary is out of date. And this is specifically why I give the current era of player education a hoity-toity title like the Age of Enlightenment. Because the Age of Enlightenment, I describe it like that because it doesn't just represent a enlightened approach to documentation writing, but it also represents enlightenment amongst the player base. The player base is becoming more enlightened about how the systems work, because now the information is just there, seconds away. But that lasted long enough for us to run the tests. Knight says, except the ones who get offended we didn't just answer the option on Discord, and that's true. The youngster says this is the kind of stuff that Comstar tried to stop. Yeah, we found glossary in the Helm data core. So this PR adds Greg, the generic random event generator. Also transfers all prisoner events from pest prisoner event system. I do like a good acronym, as you can probably tell, to Greg. A handful of other changes were made to facilitate this shift. I attempted to break out as much code as I could, but it wasn't possible to break everything out. The main benefit of Greg over Pest is the introduction of skill and attribute check functionality. A writer's guide to Greg will be coming within the next couple days. And we're marking this as utility because that's basically what it is. There we go. Hammer, if you're still in chat, I have two requests. Request number one, could you hit this with Copilot? Request number two, once Copilot's done, if you could hit it with generate some tests using Claude, if you don't mind. State the Dog says, does that mean during my Big Suck campaign I'll lose the glossary? I hope not. Radar says, I will also throw HecknDocs video tutorials at people if the glossary isn't enough or has dated information. Yeah, no, HecknDocs tutorials are fantastic. If you guys, this is actually quite important. If you ever notice that there's out of date information, or even if you just suspect information is out of date in the glossary, please let us know. We try to keep it updated, but we are... Oh, Copilot's already running? Thank you, Hammer. But we are just... We are only volunteers. It's very hard for us to keep everything up to date. So if you ever notice something in the glossary isn't quite right, please reach out to us immediately. Open up an issue report. We'd be more than happy to update the systems. Radar says they know what has helped me is let me start again. Radar says that HecknDocs videos have helped them, and plus watching the scrotes on Friday. Yeah, so if anybody, because I know we've got a couple of people here who don't normally follow. So first of all, if you're enjoying the stream, hit the follow button. Hit that follow button. Just caress it with your little finger. Doesn't need to be your big finger, little finger. It could be your thumb. Just hit the follow button. That'll make you notified of when we go live. When do we go live? I haven't said this for a while, but I'll say it now. We go live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Those are our live dev streams. And that's where you can see me developing live on stream. Those are, you can actually, if you have a look in the schedule section on Twitch, you'll see exactly when those are. Then on Friday evenings, we have a long day on Friday. We do the dev stream in the morning, and then on Friday evening, we have our ongoing MekHQ campaign, the Scrotorious Bastards. Who are the Scrotorious Bastards? They are a Rasselhaig house unit, and we are currently 4 years before the onset of the clan invasion. So we are building ourselves up to take on the clans. And I said this before, I've said this again, we will not be accepting the Bacchao, because what the hell is a Bacchao? Sounds made up to me. So yeah, if you enjoy just watching us develop, or if you want to see what it's like for a developer to actually play through the game they help develop, check out the streams. Hit the follow button. Let us know you're having a good time. And if you want to hang out between streams, there's also a couple of links in the Twitch link section and the YouTube link section. One is for the official MegaMek Discord. Join it, you'll have fun. It's a good place to be. The other is for our own personal my own personal dev Discord thingy. The Putu Appreciation Society, because the Putu is the best animal in the world. It is in fact the ugliest bird in the world, and I love them. So if you want to join and hang out between streams, check out the Putu Appreciation Society link in the link place where links live. But here we go. We're just waiting for Copilot to do Copilot things. Because this is... Okay, I will say 2,000 changes is a lot fewer changes than I was expecting. That makes me happy. I was expecting it to be a lot worse. Let's go over to MegaMek data. Actually, what we're going to do, some data changes on Greg. Because last time we were here, let's go back to IntelliJ. We set up a bunch of skills for the for Greg for the prisoner event system. And I want to now go in and see if we can change some, well, not necessarily change them over from skills, but change some of that don't have skills to attributes, so we can make attribute skill checks actually matter. So let's go to skill attributes so we can all remember what the attributes are. So let's split that right. And now we're going to go into data. Because I'm losing myself. There we go, data. Because let's see about not life paths. Where's random events? Random events. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through the random events and see if any of the responses can be handled with an attribute check instead of having none. So helps if I go to the right file. And I see Copilot's given some feedback, which we'll address later. Prisoner events is what we're looking for. Prisoner events, there we go. So we are looking for breakout. Okay, we have a mass breakout. And the responses are focus on preventing any prisoners from leaving the base even if it costs lives. And I believe we have that tied to small arms. Send guards and combat units after the prisoners at full force. Small arms as well. Can we split this? Right. We can. Good, good. Radar says they just realized the Battle of Misery is about to happen in a month on their campaign, to which Knight retorts, that's what I call any battle in fog in a high G world. That's amusing. Breakout 3. Focus on containing the remaining prisoners if any escape. I kind of feel like, again, that's small arms. Prisoners have erupted in a full-scale riot. Use stun weapons and tear gas. That should be... where's riot? Okay, option 1, melee weapons. Option 2, small arms. Option 3 is negotiation. Okay. Murder, investigation, acting, melee weapons. Fire, administration, Small arms. So I'm just looking for ones that don't already have a skill tied to them. Okay, poison. Investigation. 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 Hostage. It's going to be acting. Small arms. Leadership. Okay. Bomb is small arms. Investigation. Administration. Execution is investigation. Administration. Oh, okay, we have one for execution, it looks like. So we haven't got the final one. But however, I think the execution final one is just do nothing. Let the execution stand as a grim reminder of what would happen if the guards went around. Bandit to die, administration, negotiation. Ooh, we have the middle one for abandon to die, doesn't have anything attached. Can we add an attribute? So abandon to die, response 1, quietly cover up the incident to prevent political fallout. Huh. I actually think that would work for administration again. So let's just go with that. United, interest military, small arms, okay. Okay, that's that one done. Now we got the minor events we need to do. So argument is small arms. Okay, so argument, we're missing one. Arguments. The first one is small arms. Okay, that's fair enough. Is it really small arms? Argument. Issue a stern warning that insubordination won't be tolerated. I don't think that is small arms. That doesn't sound like a small arms thing to me. And I think that's going to be a charisma. Okay, then we have option 1, assign different holding areas to prevent further conflict. I feel like we can make that a skill check. Sounds more like support weapons to me. Administration. And lastly, avoid interfering. This needs to sort itself out. Okay, that's not a problem. Wild stories. Let them enjoy the stories. A little morale boost with the prisoners by keeping them calmer. Small arms and cryptography. Tampering is melee weapons, but not anything on option 1. Quarantine the prisoner as a precaution. That's not really going to require a skill. And lastly, no harm done. This time to ignore it. That's also fine. Conversations, cryptography, interrogation, and unknown. Focus on bigger problems. Okay. Rations. Okay. What is ration? 0. Give them extra rations. Let's go with let's go with a tribute. Let's go with charisma again. Is it really just called attribute? No, didn't think so. And ignore it. Okay, that's also fine. Trades, investigation, unknown. Small trades, okay, that's fine. And then negative is just they take assign guards to oversee and profit from the contraband trade. Okay, I have changed my mind. I actually want that to be a administration. And I mentioned this the other day. when I was first going through this process. You might think that this is going to mean that there are a lot of skills that you're now going to need to have on your... Okay, this is actually wrong. This should be down here. God. And this should be down here. What was I going to say? Yeah, so you might say that this is going to require a lot of skills on your personnel, and that is correct. But we are going to be moving to a Elder Scrolls style leveling system. So as you use skills, you will improve those skills. I don't have too many details yet, so don't try and ask me a whole bunch of questions. So I'm not going to know the answer to them. But that's the grand plan, is that we're going to use this system to move to a... Oh, no, this is wrong. Give me a second. Negotiations correct. And ignoring. Yeah, so we're going to move to a sort of an Elder Scrolls style leveling system. So as you use skills, it's going to improve them, which I feel like it's going to be a really interesting thing. It's going to be very difficult to balance, but I think if we can pull it off, it'll be really trash to start off with, but we'll definitely get it better. Okay, that's fine. MedTech any. So number one, a bit of ventilation and clean water for improved health. Let's go for administration of that one. So what this means is you're actually going to be able to use prison guards as a way to improve administration, for example, which will then potentially create a pipeline from prison guard to administrator. Ignore it. Talk to both parties. That's a negotiation. And administration. Okay. Graffiti. Order prisoners to scrub the walls themselves. Let's actually go for skill. Let's go for small arms. And number one's ignore it, and then we have investigation. That's good. Prayer. Bartering. Crackdown on it. Investigation. Interrogation. And what's the final one? Ignore it, I guess, fine. Officer. Everyone gets some conditions no matter their rank. It's neutral. Give them the way. We can probably go for a skill check there for the negotiation. Steak the Dog says they firmly believe that FASA didn't properly test non-standard environment rules. That would track. That would absolutely track for FASA. I appreciate the games that FASA made. I do not appreciate their games design. And it says the faster weather rules were written by two guys that lived in Arizona. Yeah. It definitely, you can definitely tell. Okay, ignore it. Send the MedTech or guard to calm the prisoner. Alright, melee weapons. Propaganda. Eliminate the material before it spreads. That's probably going to be investigation, actually. And we can find out who smuggled it in, and ignore it is ignore it. We can ban singing. There we go. Refusing rations. They'll eat when they're hungry enough. Yeah, that's fine. Speak to the ringleader and see what they want. Negotiation and small arms. Okay. Plotting. Looks like we've got a good set of skills there, but we've got one that isn't. Is that just to ignore the problem? It is ignore the problem. Okay, equipment. Determine if sabotage is to blame. That's investigation, Aztec, and melee weapons. Planned rescue. Negotiation, interrogation, administration. Mistake. That's just saying you can't ignore it. Assign someone to verify the story. And lastly, moving better quarters is going to be administration. Okay, letter, cryptography. Oh, eliminate the leader. Okay, that's going to be... oh, eliminate the letter, not leader. Beg your pardon. Okay, that's fine. Separate prisoners. That's definitely administration. Then we've got ignore the problem. Ignore the problem. And then lastly, MedTech any. Do androids dream of electronic sheep? Neutral response, negotiation. And lastly, add to my collection of oddities. Okay, that's fine. Heavy metal. Investigation. Ignore it. And then tracking any. Paranoia. I'm genuinely convinced that a lot of FASA's design documents were fueled by illicit substances. Not design documents, design decisions. Okay. Okay, so that's got thing. So pet rodent. Ignore the problem. Animal handling. And then administration. Oh, tracks. Actually, I think that's rather than administration. I feel like that's actually animal handling as well. Escape rope, melee weapons, leadership, or nothing. Oh, that last one can be leadership, couldn't it? Yeah. So we put leadership in the wrong place there. What did I call ability checks? I can hear one of my cats just screaming outside the door. Undercover, check the story against your records. Administration, ignore it. And interrogation, okay. Brand, investigation, MedTech any, and ignore it, most likely. Yeah, ignore it. We're nearly done. Silence, investigation, ignore it, probably. And then security system electronics. Singing. Encourage it, cooperation might. Okay, I like the encouragement one. So let's just make that another charisma check. Small arms and cryptography. Paper, cryptography. Destroy it is nothing. And then ignore it is also ignore it. Holiday, small arms. Allow it and use acceleration to exact information. I think that's actually going to be interrogation. Whispers. First one is separate them, which should definitely be a skill check. Administration. Sensor operations, and then lastly, ignore it. Leader, interrogation, investigation, and ignore it. Ignore it. Oh, observe quietly. See how the dynamic develops. Let's see here. Let's go for intelligence. No, observe quietly. I think that's gonna come down to investigation again, actually thinking about it. Arguments, negotiation, administration, and what's the better? That's ignore it. Yep. Sentimental item. Let them keep it. Deny the request and investigate the item. Malnutrition, melee weapons. Survival of the fittest and rule of war. Yeah, ignore it. And lastly, give more. That's going to be administration. Injuries. Investigation. Ignore it. Administration. Terror. Ignore it. Send the guard. And lastly, interrogation. Screaming, MekTech any. Isolation, that's going to be a skill check. And ignore them. Photo is negotiation. Ignore it. And we've already got negotiation there. Ghosts. We must be getting close to now. Medtechs, yes. Ignore it. And administration. Voices. First one is going to be administration. Use the message to show what. Let's go for small arms. And that's the administration. There we are, we're done. Okay, cool. So we're able to add a handful of attributes to these. Added attributes. One thing I want to do, stealth. Ooh. Yeah. I just spotted your message there, Knight. I think stealth works well. There we go. Now, one thing we want to do is we want to boot up MekHQ, which unfortunately means that we will have to deal with the data building. Okay, while we're waiting for data to build, let's head back over to MekHQ and we're going to see what feedback the AI has given us. This is correct. So we need to double check that, so maybe they were accidentally applying penalties to the fallback, then we need to verify. So difficulty, and yeah, so these need the polarity of these needs to be reversed. Actually, we can just do one better. Rather than mucking around with polarity, let's just change the results. No, we can do one better. There we go. Because these are modifiers to the target number. So that's resolved. Looks like Hawk has taken a look and spotted something that might not be correct. Knight says they'd be happy if their artillery allies stopped firing on them. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh no, it looks like we have got a shit ton of dirty edits. When we renamed skill type in the... fuck-a-doodle-doo. Okay, so we actually have a big problem. Because what's happened is when we renamed skill type, it renamed it across the entire code base, not just a single instance. Shit. Man, this PR is fucking cursed. Okay. Let's try and do this in reverse. Fuck. Okay, let's push this Copilot fix first, and then we can take a look. Shit, this is actually a big issue. I don't know why IntelliJ decided to rename every single instance. It never used to do that. Okay, looks like data's built, which is nice. We'll deal with that later. Okay, how do we want to resolve this? I guess we go through every one of these 42 files and we correct it. Because it looks like a bunch of these files have been changed when they really shouldn't have been. I knew we were hitting more classes than we should have done. I just didn't. I didn't realize why. This is so frustrating. So what's happened is we hit rename on skill type, and it's just basically it's renamed it across the entire code base, creating a whole bunch of what are referred to as dirty edits. So dirty edits are edits that you did not intend to make. This actually isn't the first time I've come across a dirty edit in recent history, and I'm wondering if it's connected. I'm wondering if IntelliJ changed something. Because I was reviewing a PR the other day and I came across a whole bunch of dirty edits there too. Emma says something feels different. Yeah. Hammer says idea is not in their good books. Yeah, no, I am very upset with idea at the moment. Like, I don't know if they've just started incorporating a whole bunch of AI code or what, but the idea has been crashing for me constantly. This is just a whole example of like why version control is so important. Because can you imagine if we had done this and we didn't have version control, we'd have no way to undo the fuck up. Look at all these files we haven't even touched. Let's head over to Safari. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go through every line and just check to make sure we're not doing anything else stupid. Hammer says there's a PR for Greg up on repo. Oh, fantastic. I really need to take that alarm off my phone. Yeah, because this is already looking a lot cleaner. And this is why I really need to... You basically, you have to... You have to check your own work. Why did I change that? Weird that I removed that. That's not usually what I'm doing. I'm really not happy with this PR. Oh, make event. That's why I removed it. Make event check shouldn't even be here anymore. Go away, AI. That's why. This PR is so sloppy. That's why I removed it. This is why I really do not like having big PRs that sit for so long. Because I've clearly not done my homework and reviewed this before pushing it. Also, this is, by the way, this is what a review looks like. Essentially, what I'm doing is self-review, which I should have done. I am so upset at myself that I didn't do this already. Hammer says, don't be upset. It is the thing, though. Like, this is just laziness on my part. This isn't excusable. I pushed something that I hadn't reviewed myself. And like every PR, you should always self-review. This is so embarrassing. Oh, so let's go fix this. Let's go fix this right now. And it says we've all done it, all done a PR. Then you find something you missed, like a punch you in the face that you obvious. Yeah, it's just I'm better than this. And that isn't to say I'm better than making mistakes, but no, like this is not the quality of PR that I'm happy to produce, is what I'm saying. Emma says, I think this is an important bit lesson to see on the stream. It is. This is something that yeah, like it is good to see people make mistakes on stream, because nobody is above mistakes. It doesn't matter how good you are, you can fuck up. And then what is important is what you do to unfuck it. Some new tests, so this should just be the test stuff. So yeah, we've gone from 42 files changed to just 23. Let me just double check that this is no longer being done. Where are we? We are in skill type. We'll fix it. That's done. That's done. I'm going to actually we're going to put this into draft. Let us have a look and see what Hannah sent over. Pull requests too. Let's have a look at the review. Oh, this is something else from yesterday. Okay. Oh. Oh, these are the tests I asked for. Hammer, you didn't tell me you'd done the tests. Okay, I will create a... darn it. Okay, how can I do that? Because I can't merge it in now. Yeah, it is the wrong one. I didn't realize you'd done this for me. I will come back and address this later. Well, thank you for doing the tests. I just thought you'd forgotten. I didn't bother chasing it, because I get like so many emails. Yeah, the thing is, I get so many emails constantly from every time someone even scratches their ass on the MekHQ repo, that I don't bother checking emails from GitHub anymore. That's on me. That's on me. Okay. We're in the wrong place again. Okay, that's all fine. This may not be positive. Okay, so let's merge in the tests and then we'll review what the issues is. Okay. I should probably make a note that this has been flipped into... Just need to make a quick note that we flipped into draft. Okay, that all said and done, let us run our tests, especially the new ones that Hammer's just given us, and let's see which ones fail. Claude said there will be failing tests, and I'm interested to see which ones they are. Radar says they just skip their firing phase. How do you skip an entire firing phase? But yeah, anytime you have a PR sitting in the queue for more than a week, that's a dangerous sign, because by that point you've forgotten everything that works, and if you've missed a step, for example, I forgot to do my self-review, you're not going to remember that point that you did, and that's where we end up in problems like where we did. Like this, it is entirely avoidable. And if you're wondering, Illiani, why are you self-flagellating yourself? It's because we have to be honest with ourselves. If we fuck up, it is incredibly important you go, yes, I fucked up. Here is how I fucked up. It is not a case of self-flagellation, bullying yourself. But it's important to say, hey, this is something that I screwed up on. This is how I can not screw up on it in future. And to take ownership of that screw up. Everybody's done a bad review. Everybody's broken a release. The more code you do, the more likely you are to be the person who broke the release. But that doesn't mean you can't learn from it. Okay, just waiting for all these tests to finish running. I use Testall nowadays. It takes longer, but it tests everything. And just as importantly, it gives us a nice little web page that has all of the stuffs relating to what we need to fix. But yeah, while we're waiting for these tests to run, this incredibly exciting and fun-filled activity. As I frequently say, a lot of programming is just waiting for stuff to finish so you can finish your stuff. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the follow button so that you can be notified of when we go live. We go live 5 times a week. You can check when by checking out the Twitch schedule. If you haven't already, please consider joining the IllianiDev Discord. I don't like calling it that. It sounds very flirtatious. But yeah, considering joining our Discord, and if you're interested in MegaMek, join the official MegaMek Discord. You'll find both links in the place where links live. King Mal says, I believe this is the point where you're supposed to start chair jousting. Ah, Yeah, I was always a chair spinner myself. I've always been a chair spinner. I had to stop because my current chair had a habit of tipping me out on my ass. But no, I have always been a terrible chair spinner when I'm bored and waiting for stuff to finish. Chair spinner, I fiddle with my toy dinosaurs. Arrgh, arrgh, arrgh. You can't see me playing with my toy dinosaur, but I'm sure you can, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, you can picture me with my classic Diplodocus, which, by the way, I will say this without any chance of hyperbole. The Diplodocus is the superior dinosaur shape. Like, you might say, oh no, what about your Tyrannosaurus Rexes, or your I don't know, your Allosauruses, your Velociraptors. Diplodocus, the superior dinosaur shape. Proof that all you need is a walnut for your brain. Oh, this isn't good. Like, it looks like the tests have failed. Dinosaur cam when? Well, right, we would have the bandit cam, but unfortunately bandit's not allowed in my office while I'm streaming anymore because he has committed bandit crimes. Also because the rest of his desk bed is in the old apartment. Okay, our tests have failed. Let's see how many have failed. Okay, not many. So I'm not going to show you the results because I'm literally just going to grab the test and then plonk it and we can go straight to test. There we go. Okay, we're going to rerun this test and see where it's failing. I'm really excited to reach the clans. Like, I have always wanted to experience the clan invasion from the Innosphere side, and I haven't played the DLC on MechWarrior 5 yet. I actually don't own that yet. I should get that at some point. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play the new DLC, but I just love the concept of being an Innosphere pilot versus these superior war machines. And at the same time, while I'm sure I would enjoy the clan invasion in MechWarrior 5, I think I would enjoy it far more in MekHQ because MechWarrior 5 doesn't want you to lose, whereas MekHQ is perfectly happy to kill everything you love. Okay. Preset XML. Why have we got a preset XML? Whatever. Okay, what are we even testing here? Background capacity test for skill type. This is okay. So this test we don't actually need anymore because this test is testing something that doesn't exist. So this is testing the dirty edits. So some of these tests I'm going to leave in because, yeah, let's just check. No, there's no reason to include these tests. So let's just delete that. But that doesn't mean the other tests aren't super useful. So let's go over to the other ones. Because these are the YAML tests, which are... I would really like the YAML to load. No, it won't... God damn it. Let's try. There we go. Knight says, I'm lucky that it's summertime and they're head of IT at the school district. Their boss says they can play MegaMek all day until new equipment comes in July. Oh, that is fantastic. Like, not even I'm paid to play MegaMek. Okay, so let's run these tests. Let's see what breaks. So I suspect I know why this isn't going to load, because I suspect this is not creating a standard event. Stick the Dog says, I mean, you kind of are now. I guess, but legally speaking, I'm not being paid to play MegaMek. I am being paid to do these very entertaining streams because these are not officially affiliated with the MegaMek project. Gribbly says, too many BattleTech players treat the clan invasion like a loot pinata delivery. All of the early battles turned IS forces to mincemeat. Absolutely. And that is something that I am incredibly excited. I want the Scrotorius Bastard campaign to hit the clan invasion and get abso-fucking-lutely shredded. Like, I want everybody we know and love to die one after the other because that is going to be so narratively rich. Okay, so here's the issue. We don't have access to what's the word? Calm brain. Get there in the end. We don't have access to the data. So what I need to do, and it always hurts me whenever I have to do it because it takes so long. I'm going to kill the data. And then we need to copy something across. Because I need to create a data version of a testable data version. So we need to copy random events, and then we need to go to test data. Where's test data? Unit test resources. Yeah, we need the one. We might as well leave the rest in. Now let's see if these tests will pass. PSP59 says, I think the campaign engine tries to balance BVs a bit. If you're talking about MekHQ, it does very, very little. It depends if you agree to the Bachow. If you agree to the Bachow, you can expect roughly BV2 parity. Roughly. It will still almost certainly be tilted in the clan's favor. If you do not... if you don't agree to the Bachow, then it balances it purely on generic battle value, and you are going to be out-tunned and out BV'd at every turn. Okay, so it's failing to load it because there's no such file or directory. Data, random events. Here we are. What do I need to do to get it to load test data? I need to remember. There's a way for us to load in test data, but I never remember. Get factions. Where's get instance? Get instance. Okay, so get instances for testing. I need to, okay, now I see what I need to do now. Do I want to do that way? No. private final string. The PSP59 says, so you're going to refuse to dare to refuse the patch out? I absolutely am. I absolutely am. We're going to get shredded by Clan Ghost Bear. Oh, so it's all lowercase test resources. Where is our constructor? There it is. How do I want to do this? For string event file in event files. Or I there we go. What do you mean? Oh, it's because we've got, damn it. So that gives us that. Now it'll give us our test resources. Now we need to go back and correct one instance of this. Or rather, all the instances here. So this now needs to become, replace this, and it's going to become true. We can do with that. I think this test we could just get rid of. Okay, let's run these tests and see if this now will use our test data. Knight says, calm down, J.R.R. Martin. What's J.R.R. Martin's going on about now? Oh, I think Knight's commenting on me killing everybody. Yeah, that's true. I get the jokes now. I've always wanted the clan invasion experience where you're just, you know, you're clutching at every possible chance to win. You're desperately trying to snatch victory from defeat. Ah, here's the issue. Let's try that again, shall we? Because, yeah, I know, especially as we get more and more attached to these characters like Flash Fried, Odin, that narrative starts springing up around them, and then being able to place those characters in a scenario where they have no hope for victory, and yet we are going to strive. We are going to have the very inner sphere experience of desperately trying to win this cursed campaign. Radar says they just finished the longest battle they've ever done that involved 6 units, 21 phases of firing on a Marauder and a Rifleman. Is that the Marauder that got stuck in the mud? Radar confirmed it was. Ah. Let's see. Oh, we now only have one failure. Oh no, there they are. Ah, cannot deserialize value of, because we got, I see. So we actually have some errors that we do need to resolve. Okay, so that's the first bug. That was actually a genuine bug. So let's run it again. PS359, but then realizing it's futile and dying into obscurity. Well, here's the thing. Like, the Scotorious Bastards, we know how the story of the Rassel Hague Republic ends. And that's the fun of it. Like, here is this inescapable doom where nothing we do is going to change what is going to happen. The Free Rassel Hague Republic is going to, by all intents and purposes, fall. It is going to be crushed beneath the boot of the Clan Ghost Bear. But how the Scrotorious Bastards survive that, if they survive that, like what happens to the people who are left behind when the shots are finished firing, that's the story I want to know the ending of. And I am just so incredibly excited. We have less than 4 years left until it all kicks off. And I'm trying to decide what campaign I'll play next. I haven't really decided yet. Knight says they survive as bondsmen if you get wiped out faction switch. Ooh, oh, that could be fun. If that happens, that could be fun, of just playing a clan campaign afterwards. That actually could be really, really fun. Okay. No type, every... The Ghost Bears hate mercenaries, but you might be able to headcanon it somewhere? Potentially. Well, the thing is, we're not mercenaries. We're a free Rasselhagen Republic house unit. We're not mercenaries. PS359 said they hadn't realized that we're not mercenaries, we're gold then. Yeah, no, we should be good. Okay, there's one last thing I want to do before we put this back up for review, is we're going to go ahead and rebuild our data. We're going to run this one more time, and I just want to make sure that everything actually runs this time. Oh, I've just realized. I hadn't realized Scritorious Bastards is tomorrow. Oh, now I'm even more excited. I think we're just starting our third contract. Knight says, being a house unit, I think you should be able to get salvage if you do survive. Not that I have a vested interest in house units getting clan salvage as soon as possible. So, the reason why I opted to make it no clan salvage for house units as well as mercenaries was because the house would absolutely seize all the equipment, and you might be able to finagle something, and I would like to see a system added where you could get around the limitation somehow as a house unit based on your faction standing, where the house goes, nah, you guys, you get to use the stuff, we need you using that stuff to hold the line. But generally speaking, the house basically seized all the clan equipment, not necessarily to use it, but for house R&D. Radar also confirmed even Adam Steiner had his clan salvage stat seized. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, because it wasn't necessarily being taken so the house could use it. They were, not directly in combat at least. They were seizing it for the purpose of R&D. Because the houses, especially the great houses, were desperate to unlock the secrets of clan tech so that they could get the upper hand on the other houses. Very early on into the clan invasion, once the houses kind of realized what the hell was going on, they wanted that clan tech not to defeat the clans, but to defeat their neighbors. Because whoever unlocked clan tech first could conceivably crush the clans, because of course they were going to crush the clans. They weren't in the sphere, but conceivably they could crush the clans, but more importantly, they could crush everybody else. If you're the Draconis Combine and you have clan tech and everybody else doesn't, you win. And that was the real appeal of clan tech. It's why, and there was a clan tech black market, because of course there is. But we have to be careful. We don't want, and this comes back to what was discussed earlier, we don't want the clans to turn into a loot pinata. However, I could absolutely see the Free Rasselhagen Republic being desperate enough to put clan gear back into the field. That may be something I need to think about as a specific clause for the Free Rasselhagen Republic. Radar says, if I recall properly, the Drax were the first ones to probably unlock Omnitech. That could be. Who created the Osiris? Because the Osiris was the first Innisphere Omni, if I remember correctly. Was the Osiris Draconis Combine? PS359 says, I don't think the Free Russell Hague Republic got much because they were getting their butts so firmly kicked. Yeah. Power says the Drax got it at Walcott. That's true, yes. And the Drax got hold of a lot at Walcott when the Smoke Jaguars completely screwed the pooch. The Osiris isn't an Omni? Oh, my brain has been lying to me my entire life. However, PS359 did confirm that the Raptor is the first Inner Sphere Omni, and it's a Draconis Combine mech. Let's just go for a new campaign. So I don't want any existing data to include it. Yeah, so what do we think? I think possibly MechWarrior 4 had Omni slots. I mean, that could be. It could be. I don't know why. I just always thought the Osiris was an Omni mech. Here's the thing. Like, the Osiris is a 3063 designed from the Bedsons. This goes to show what I know. Oh, no, I am. Radar says they think I'm thinking of the Owens. I am thinking of the Owens. That is exactly what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the really dorky looking Owens. Yeah, no, thank you, Radar. That is 100% what I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, I'm specifically thinking of the Owens. Okay, so literally all we're doing here is we're closing out. So I haven't switched over to MekHQ because we're just waiting for MekHQ to load, and we're going to immediately close out of it because we're going to go to the logs, and we're just going to see if there's anything shitting itself in the log. Okay, so let's go for error. That's all fine. Still fine. Still fine. Okay, so we're not getting any errors in the log. What about warnings? That's fine. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so let's push this back up. I am now feeling a lot more comfortable about it. Also, the Owens is one of the few early Inner Sphere Omni-Mechs to be picked up by the clan for a short while. Oh, that's interesting. Radar says it came out around about the same time. Also, maybe dorky, but I do like it. The Owens is just a shoebox on legs, and I love it. We also got the Owens in Mech Assault, if I remember correctly, didn't we? Raptor's 3052, Owens is 3056. Okay. The Owens is also actually a pretty decent recon mech. Yeah, because it has... yeah, I just like the Owens. Yeah, Radar confirms it's probably a Mech Assault. I think we also... Did we get the Owens in Mech Commander 2, maybe? So I'm over in Safari. I'm just writing up a statement saying why this has been flipped back on. King Knight, die again. King Miles said the Owens was intended to be a replacement for the Jenna. But unlike the Jenna 2, it's actually good. Ouch, Radar. Knight comments that some things are better on legs, like when they put legs on a Gauss rifle and called it the Hollander. The Hollander's great. I remember in Mech Commander 2, I want to say, could be Mech Commander 1. I remember being absolutely terrified of the Hollander. Because I just remember getting absolutely pelted by Gauss shots completely off screen. Radar says they love the Hollander. The answer to the question, what's the lightest mech we can strap a Gauss rifle to? Okay, so that's given us some tests. That's given us a whole bunch of good stuff. Yeah, okay. Now I'm feeling a lot more comfortable about Greg. It was really sloppy before, but now with an extra pile of tests, I feel much more comfortable about it. Yeah, that's fine. Should be good. So that's our test data. Okay. Cool. Now, one thing I do remember that I completely forgot is that there was also some bugs it reported in the review. So let's go ahead and quickly bring those back up. Okay, that's that. We fixed that bug. We fixed that bug. Okay, that was confirming that was it's saying that prisoner events are now more likely that is actually intentional. That's fine. Okay, cool. Now I feel much better. Okay, so we've been pretty productive today. I say we've been pretty productive. We've mostly been... Oh no, we're getting test fails. Uh-oh. We've got a check style test failure. Oh, we're not finished. Quick to IntelliJ, figure out what the hell is going on. Did we forget to put have we put a naughty word somewhere? So check style is there to check us against, like, if we accidentally include any copyrighted terms in our... Oh, I think one of our test mechs in Urban Mech, that'll be it. It'll be triggering on the mech part of Urban Mech. So once this loads, this is going to tell us exactly where the naughty word is. We have something like 15,000 test cases now. Oh, it's saying it's correct. Why is it telling me it's not correct up here then? Okay, cool. You've got a forbidden word. You're going to tell me where the forbidden word is? Okay. We've got a forbidden word on line 22. Well, considering line 22 is in the legal statement, I should hope we've got a naughty word. Why is it complaining about words in the legal statement that we're required to include? Has it got the right legal statement? That could be a possibility. Let's just double check it's not doing the wrong legal statement. Ah, it looks like it might have been doing the wrong legal statement. Okay, it looks like it's hitting that as well. I wonder it's using the MegaMek legal statement and not. Okay, let's have a look. What was the issue? Ah, okay. It was incorrectly substituting aerotech for aerotech. Which makes me worried. Do we have any other instances of that occurring in the code base? We don't. Okay, cool. Cool. That's something we're going to need to be careful of in future. But hey ho, easily fixed. That's why we have these tests, even if I do get grumpy at them sometimes. Have we pushed? No, that would help. There we go. Okay, so I think we are finishing up for today. This is going to be available for review. What a day, hey? So basically, I had intended to do a lot more interesting things today, but really we were stuck just fixing Greg. But Greg's done now, so the next task on my to-do list is going to be to write a writer's guide to Greg, so that anybody who wants to develop stuff for Greg just needs to read the writer's guide and go, okay, this is what I do. And then any extra words, code support just needs to be added. But one of the things I did when I developed Greg, or rather when I developed Pest, the prisoner event system that Greg succeeds, is I wanted to make it so that anybody who doesn't know how to program can still write events. They just need to know how to write the events. So to give you an example here, if I close out of these, we go down to scratching my hand. So where's prisoner events? So if I go down to data and pick out, I can just do it in test resources because it's living in there. It's got a copy there now. So if you just look at this, this is what you're seeing on screen now. This is a YAML file that has all of the event system in. So everything here is a single event that I'm copying now. And as you can see, you don't need any code, any one of you, even if you don't know how to work Java, can work this out. All you need to know is just what values can go in each and what each thing does. And so long as you do that, and so long as you maintain the YAML appropriately, i.e. use a real editor, don't use a text file, then you can easily write whole new events, because it's just this and some text in a resource bundle. None of this requires any code support, and you can write events like the ones that you guys experience when you have prisoners breaking out and stuff. It's super, super easy to work with, and I'm really, really proud of how it is. There are improvements I want to make. Like, I would really like it so that I don't have to have breakout, for example. Right now, it has to be defined in this enum. I would really like for this not to be the case. But right now it is, and that just is what it is. So yeah, the random event type is logged in the thing, but do we actually use it anyway? I'm curious. Yeah, we use it in a few places. Yeah, event type, get name. Yeah, so we do use it in a couple of places. That can actually be changed. We can probably do away with random event type entirely and replace it with a string. And if we do that, at that point, we don't need to make any code changes to support a new event type. Interesting. Interesting. That's something for me to keep in mind. Like, I think that might be the next thing, is just to change it so that we're no longer needing to maintain a random event type. We can do that. We can do that very easily. Okay, well, that's given me some food for thought. That might be a tomorrow thing. Tomorrow is Fridays, which means we have the Scritorious Bastards in the evening. Fox Darrow says, off the top of my head, would it be possible to have a function run on startup that takes a list of words and text file and turns it into an enum? I am reasonably certain we can do that. I don't personally know how, but I'm reasonably certain we can do that. What I'm less certain of is whether we need to. I think random event type can just be a string. I think it can just be a string, and we don't need the enum. I think we've grown beyond the enum. What I think the reason we made the enum for, I believe, it was to ensure uniqueness in the random event types, so that you're not in danger of having 2 breakouts, for example. But I think we can do this better. I think I can just have a system that when we're loading the library of random events, just checks for uniqueness and then spits out an error if there's duplicates. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. Not now, because it's the end of the stream. Tomorrow, I think that's what we're gonna do. Okay, well that's actually a very interesting realization, but we can leave that for tomorrow. Hammer says they've hit the PR with Greg with a co-pilot again, which is really appreciated. Thank you, Hammer. And I'll address any feedback that comes, then we can get some human reviews on it. But yeah, no, I do think that's the next step, is going to be changing that from a common brain, from an enum, and just have it as a string, and then just have a check that verifies uniqueness. There we go. I'm just going to add in, we're over in Safari now. We're just quickly adding in the data files for Greg. And we're going to link the 2 PRs. But yeah, so we're closing up for today. If you haven't already and you enjoyed the stream, please consider hitting the follow button. Subscribe if you're feeling spicy, but there's never a need. Like, I appreciate every subscription, but it's you know, don't feel like you ever are in a position where you have to, like, you know, subscribe. Because if people subscribe, I'm really happy and grateful for it, but I don't want anybody to feel pressured. But yeah, and otherwise, hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and maybe consider joining us on Twitch sometimes. When can you join us on Twitch? Well, if you check the schedule on our Discord, which you will find in the link place where links live, you will know that we are streaming. We were streaming tomorrow. We're streaming tomorrow in the morning and then in the evening with the Scrotorious Bastards, which you do not want to miss. And if you ever miss an episode of Scrotorious Bastards, don't worry, every episode is up on YouTube. But yeah, I can definitely tell I'm getting very, very tired at this point. We've been very busy today. We've done a lot of work, even if a lot of the work was just unscrewing things up. But yeah, other than that, let's close off for today. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for the subscriptions and the bits and all the support, really. I really do appreciate you all. Thank you. But I'm going to go and make dinner. I think tonight I'm going to have grilled cheese with tomato soup. Nom 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 nom. So good night, fare thee well, and may all your hits be crits.